The Lee Group will be holding its 10th annual Small Business Workshop, May 15th, 8:30 a.m. at the Corner Ballpark, 1680 Michigan Avenue in Detroit. Hear from business leaders and other entrepreneurs discussing embracing change while moving forward. You don't want to miss this free event. For more information, go to leegroupinnovation.com and check Small Business Workshop.
All right, I'd like to welcome you to this edition of In the Conference Room with Mark S. Lee. I want to thank you for joining us each and every conversation that we have where we bring together business leaders from across Metro Detroit and beyond, and we keep you up to date on the latest happenings in the business world, whether it's for-profit, nonprofit, whatever the case might be. This is your source for information. I'm so glad that you all have the opportunity to join me. And by the way, I hope you all had a wonderful Easter weekend and Easter season as well. And now that we're segueing, continuing to the warmer weather, it'll get here. Trust me, it will get here. All right. All right. I'm so pleased to welcome Mr. Collin Mays. And Collin's a young man making a difference here in Detroit. We're going to talk about a major symposium that's coming up that's focused on health and wellness. Before we get to that, Collin, thanks for joining me in the conference room.
Mark, such a pleasure. Always a pleasure to be here with you, and greatly appreciate your advocacy and leadership across the region as well.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure and glad that you could join us. So let's start with you, really. You recently have come back to Metro Detroit recently, not too long ago. What brings you back to Detroit and your what are you getting engaged in these days?
Well, it's great to be home. Always hard to leave home, but great to be back and be able to give back and use my talents to really help advance the communities I care about, help to advance the organizations that I care about. Serving as co-chair for the Soul of Philanthropy, which took place last year in Detroit, which was a fantastic engagement. I know you were involved with that. We actually did a special tribute to your father, who's so deserving, and all the great talents that he contributed to Detroit from not only the banking side, but from just the generosity side, which is really what we wanted to showcase in terms of Black philanthropy. Um, I'm embarking on a lot of new endeavors. One of those, of course, is Black men's health and really emphasizing the importance of Black men getting screened, the importance of Black men exercising, eating properly, and really just reclaiming or claiming our health and ensuring that we live longer lives and that we're living longer, sustainable, healthy lives. So that's what I'm excited about and happy to talk with you today about.
Absolutely, and it's always great to have you back. And by the way, the Solar Philanthropy was awesome. Congratulations on a wonderful event. It was I can certainly speak on behalf of my family to say that we were truly honored to certainly be have my late father recognized as part of that program with so many other, by the way, Detroiters getting engaged and being involved. That was an awesome program. So as we segue into this focus on health and wellness for Black men, let's talk about some of the myths, if you will, as it relates to Black men and their health and wellness. So from your perspective, what are some of the maybe 3 or 4 top myths that we as African American men have when it comes to our health and wellness?
Well, I think that the first thing is there's just a lot of misinformation out there. And we have to make sure that we're getting educated. We have to make sure that we're getting informed. We as Black men are twice as likely to develop heart conditions, twice as likely to develop diabetes, twice as likely to have strokes, twice as likely to develop cancer. And these are all things that we need to be mindful of, whether that is us changing our diet, whether that is us going to get physically checked out more often. I live by the rule of if you're a Black man in this country, you're over the age of 50, you need to be going to the doctor quarterly. Now, that's going to scare a lot of people to say, oh, I don't want to go to the doctor that much. But there's so many hidden triggers, hypertension. I mean, somebody can be completely healthy, look healthy, and you're still dealing with heart challenges. You're still dealing with other issues pertaining to your health. And it's not just physical health that Black men are having problems with. It is mental health as well. When you think about Black men in this country stressing over finances, stressing over family, dealing with past trauma from relationships, friends that come in and out of our lives. There's so many things that we as Black men deal with in this country that really feels like the weight is on our shoulders, and we don't have a safe space to go and talk. I remember when COVID first happened back in 2020, and it was such a depressing episode that um, I ended up reaching out to two friends of mine, and we would have weekly check-in, like kind of weekly talk points with each other. We would talk about what was going on in our personal lives, professional lives, and really just being able to open up to one another. And that made a big difference. I think that Black men in this country really feel as if we don't have that safe space. So
Mm.
next Saturday, April 13th, at Hartford Memorial Baptist Church from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're going to have that safe space for open dialogue for brothers to come and express themselves, talk about some of the challenges that we're facing, not only again from a mental standpoint, but also from the physical standpoint as well. It's important and it's a conversation that's long overdue.
Let's go back and unpack this conversation a bit further before we dwell in a little bit more specifically about the symposium. So another myth that certainly people have within the African American community is the distrust of the health system. Talk about that from a do Black men have a similar perception? I mean, again, within the overall Black community, there's a perception there that there's a distrust, particularly amongst Black females, Black women as well. Do you find that myth or the fact or fiction from your perspective based on what men are telling you about, hey, I don't need to go to the doctor because I'm not sure I might be misdiagnosed. There's that misinformation that you referenced earlier. What are your thoughts?
No, it's a fact and it's real. And I'll tell you what, there have been studies that have been done that show that if you go to the doctor and if you're a person of color, you're treated differently. You're treated differently when you go to the doctor. You have a perceived higher threshold of pain than others. I mean, so it's certainly something that's real and is something that Black men have faced for centuries and continue to face. I will say this though, the more we go, the more we know. So the more times we can go and get checked for our physical, and we have to be more mindful of what exactly we're looking for. So you have to be able to tell your doctor, hey, doctor, I want to get screened for hypertension. I want to get screened for cancer. Don't just rely on your doctor to say, well, I think you're over the age of 50, so let's check this or check that. You want to be proactive, right? Just like going to get an oil change. You want to make sure that your vehicle is running to its best possible status. And it's the same with our bodies. We have to make sure that our bodies are running at the best possible operational point possible. So it matters for us being able to go out there and just talk about the various forms of screenings that we need.
But why don't we want to do that? Why don't we want to go to the doctor? Is it the fear of what? In other words, is it a lack of awareness? Is it just my ego? Why don't we, as Black men, want to go to the doctor? What are the things preventing us from going?
I think there are two things. Number one is the cost. It's expensive. And I don't believe it's so much so Black men saying, I don't want to go just because I don't think it's important. It's a
Mhm.
matter of I can't afford to go. Cost of everything is increasing. Insurance is increasing. I can't afford to take time out of my day where I have to go and make a living. I'm an hourly worker. I can't afford to take time out of my day to go and get screened, even though it could save my life. I don't have the capacity to go out and do that because I have to take care of a family of four. So I don't have the means to do that. So that's the first thing is the cost. It is a significant amount of cost, especially if you can listen to my rule book by if you're over the age of 50, you need to go quarterly. And I know that people are saying, Colin, there's no way I'm going to do that. But it's important. You have to prioritize your health. So that's number one thing is cost. The second thing is again getting back to the overall awareness status. You may not know that you're dealing with a condition. You may not know that you have a heart condition. So many of the challenges in the Black community are dealing with genetic heart or health problems that often go undiagnosed. So you have to make sure that you tell your physician, listen, this is my family history. This is what I'm concerned about. This is what I want to be screened for. And You have to be able to lay everything out to your physician because they're not going to know. They're only going to know what you tell them. So don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. "Oh, I think I might have something." If I tell the doctor that, this family history, that's what's going to ultimately save your life and have you make sure you have a longer, prolonged, successful life.
And before we segue to the symposium briefly, you went through a physical transformation in terms of your health. Share at a very high level, very briefly, the transformation that you did and the benefits that resulted from you going through the transformation in terms of your health.
Absolutely. And thank you for that, Mark. I lost 200 pounds over the course of a 3.5 year period. I've written a book on that, and it's going to be coming out in April the 9th, so just about another week away. And I talk about my journey and my experience with health and why it matters to take care of yourself, eat properly, exercise. I'm real big on the elliptical, so I'll wake up in the morning, I'll do that elliptical 45 minutes, and I'll be ready to go. But
Awesome.
it's so important that we prioritize ourselves because nobody else is going to do it for us. So much of the health challenges do come back down to behavior, but there are other factors as well, social determinants of health, other factors pertaining to genetics. So there's so many variables that have to come into play. But the number one thing is making sure that we want to take care of ourselves, and we can do some of those preventative measures like going to the doctor, exercising, making sure that we're drinking water. That's a big one. Limiting some of those bad things that we put in us and putting more of the good things in us.
That's awesome. So the symposium, what can people expect at the symposium? You have speakers, panel discussions. What's the day set up? What's going to be happening that particular day?
Next Saturday, April the 13th, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. 9 a.m. we're going to have breakfast, healthy breakfast, for the brothers that are going to be in attendance. It's going to be at the historic Hartford Memorial Baptist Church in Detroit on the city's west side. Encouraging all within the sound of my voice to come out and participate. It is an event which is catered and encouraged for Black men to come, but we will not turn you away. We want to make sure that everybody is open and willing to participate. So come on out. It's going to be a day of discussion, a day of mental health, physical health. So yeah, we want to encourage everybody to come out and participate.
And what
Screenings
times is
all night.
you have screens? What times to start again?
Breakfast is at 9 a.m. Actual discussion 10 a.m. Health screenings beginning at noon and concluding by 2 o'clock.
So there will be health screenings as well. Should people register in advance or they just show up at the door?
Either or, I encourage people to register. Go on eventbrite.com to register, or you can also just show up. It's a free event, and we encourage everybody, again, within the sound of my voice, to come out, get screened, and get healthy.
Okay. Collin Mays, I want to thank you very much. It's so good to catch up with you. So good to see you. And you're awesome. You've always been an awesome young man. I've always been impressed by everything that you do. It's always a benefit to have you doing it here back in the Motor City where you belong, of course. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you.
And I appreciate all of you for tuning in to this week's edition of In the Conference Room with Mark S. Lee. We'll check you next time with another outstanding leader/guest here in the Conference Room with Mark S. You go out, make it a great day, make it a great week, and we will check you out next time. See you, everybody.
The Lee Group will be holding its 10th annual Small Business Workshop, May 15th, 8:30 a.m. at the Corner Ballpark, 1680 Michigan Avenue in Detroit. Hear from business leaders and other entrepreneurs discussing embracing change while moving forward. You don't want to miss this free event. For more information, go to leegroupinnovation.com and check Small Business Workshop.